Hey, good morning. It is Wednesday. It's time for another episode of Come On Ref, or as we like to call it, Max and Chad. Uh,
Thanks, Chad.
I like it. Hey, what's going on, Max? How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm here. We get to talk about sport, or we have to talk about sports for an hour, I guess, depending on your perspective, right? Um, it's not always easy after the Super Bowl, right? We named this this episode's the post Super Bowl blues. I don't know. Sometimes it feels like a little bit of a sports letdown, like right after the Super. Like, no offense to basketball or anything. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on in college basketball. Women's college basketball is really exciting. We'll get to that later. The NBA. We just had the All-Star weekend. We'll talk about that. We've got the draft coming up. We'll talk about maybe what the Browns, possibly might want to look at doing. There's things that we can talk about. I don't know. It's just not as exciting as breaking down college football games and NFL football games every week.
Right.
And looking forward to the next week and.
It's kind of
playoff matchups. Yeah, I get you. Well, the fun thing is, look at it this way. Hey, next week, not next week. That's not going to be that soon. It might feel like next week sometimes, and you get a little bit older. Time flies. Next year, we got the 12-team playoff in college football, so we're going to have more playoff matchups to start off with. Obviously, and we'll have stuff to talk about. I mean, that's going to be fun, right? But real quick. Man, did you see the score of the All-Star game? We'll get to it. We'll talk about it. Listen, someone sent that to me. Someone texted me like, "Hey, here's the final score of the NBA All-Star game." And I thought they typoed. And I thought they meant the PBA. I thought it was like a bowling event. I'm like 211 to 180. That's about my range for bowling. I mean, that's right. Well, 211 would be way above my pay grade. But yeah, you a good bowler?
Yeah, my high score is 233.
Okay. I have no business talking about bowling. I'm like a 184, and that was a fluke. My average is probably.
That's me when I'm warming up.
Okay, fair enough. You think you could ever bowl at 300 or no?
I mean, I bowled 7 strikes in a row, and then I blew it. So
that's gut wrenching, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right.
If you want to make a donation to the Max I Blew It Fund,
wow.
7 strikes in a row is pretty good. I don't know if we get him a lunch or something. Just donate to the show. We'll get him lunch. What are we going to do today? We already talked about what we're going to talk about. Let's get into the headlines, right? Yeah. We got some golf stuff. Genesis Open at Riviera. Hideki Matsuyama goes 17 under par and wins that. $4 million payday there. That's not bad.
Not bad. It's his first win in a little bit. He won the 2019 Masters. He came back and won that, but it's his first win in a little bit. I don't know the last event, but it's been a little bit.
No fans fighting each other, yelling obscenities at golfers, sliding down mud hills or anything at this?
No. This is a more classy event.
Gotcha. This is a classier event. Okay. All right. Well, sorry, Phoenix Open, but this is a classier event. I wonder if that's never mind. We'll move on. I had a question, but I don't think we need to talk about that. What else happened in sports? This was weird. So for the first time ever, I think we're seeing I don't know, video gaming. Gaming is kind of making a crossover into real sports, into the real sports world a little bit. And let me explain what I mean a little bit. William Byron, won the Daytona 500. Kind of took an unusual path there. He was an iRacing guy. He grew up coming through the ranks, basically playing video games and he had the whole rig. I looked up what this is, and it's like a whole simulator. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think it's pretty cool. I know parents want to say hey, get away from the screen. And we do the same thing to our kids. I just don't know that my kids are doing anything in front of a screen that's going to make them a few $1 million one day. I mean, they just kind of veg out and stare at cartoons right now.
It's
Down said video games look more realistic nowadays. Yeah, and they do. And that's the thing. You can simulate. There's a simulator for everything. Max, I don't know if you know this or not. I don't know how into gaming you are. There is a lawnmower simulator.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, there's a farming simulator. There's a truck drive. Some of these have real world purposes, right? I guess can I load my yard into the lawn mowing simulator and figure out cool patterns, or no? Is it just?
I have no idea. There's a power washing simulator.
What? That sounds really satisfying. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds really satisfying.
It's kind of cool.
Okay. My wife would like that too. I bet. That's okay. Well, now I'm gonna look into that. But I'm gonna go. Like I don't have enough to do in the summer. I'm gonna actually go. I'm gonna come into the fire up the PS5 and mow the yard on my.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. So anyway, came up in iRacing, kind of a guy, whatever, into that, and it led to a Daytona 500 win, man. I mean, so I don't know. Maybe I need to. Well, I think productive screen time is maybe good then, right? Not just staring.
He won it. He won it on the white flag when they were coming around to the white flag because the wreck happened, and they're not. He crossed the start finish line when the wreck happened, so they're not going to continue it.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay. Yeah. What's with the Daytona 500 ending on weird circumstances lately? Last couple of years, it's been kind of weird, right?
There's always been the Daytona 500 on the last lap. It's always a big wreck because guys are trying to make a push for the win. True.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the racers, Ross Chastain, said he can go to sleep tonight knowing he made a move to win the Daytona 500. He was the reason the race ended. He wrecked out, but he made an attempt to go to the lead.
You leave it all out there, right? I mean, I guess I get that. I understand that. What are you gonna do? I mean, you kick yourself if you didn't try, right?
Right. If he stayed stationary, he might have got because Daytona, you get stuck in one spot, you're gonna get sucked back. Yeah. Because that's just how draft works with those cars. Yeah. But him, he made a move. He dove a little too quickly. That's why he could have won.
I would love. I'm not a big car racing. I don't watch. But man, I think the driving would be fun. I think the strategy and trying to figure out when do you pit? Do you try to save it for the whatever? Do you go early and hope you don't burn out? I don't know, just stuff like that, man. I think it's kind of fun. The strategy of it's fun. And I wish I had a couple grand to drop on one of these things because I mean, how much fun is this? Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. I don't have a couple grand. So anyway, if you donated to the Max Bowling Fund earlier and you want me to have an iRacing rig, please, we'll find a way.
iRacing rig.
Please just donate. What else happened in sports? They're not going to give us any money. What happened? Ilya Topuria. Am I saying his name right? Topuria?
Yes. Yeah.
TKO's Alexander Volkanovski for the featherweight title. That was UFC, correct? Not the MMA side of it. Okay. Yeah. I saw he was Topuria is 15-0 in MMA fights. 0 in UFC.
He's Conor McGregor. Same record as he was when he won the title.
Okay. So is he no? Yeah, right. I mean, actor in a race car drive. It's amazing. And I think it's because of simulators like that. Anyway, do they have a fighting simulator? I wonder. Can you strap up yourself and feel punches or something, man? That sounds like fun.
I mean, Tommy Fury and John Bones Jones had a fighting simulator. Excuse me, a fighting injury simulator.
Okay.
Because Fury was sparring for his undisputed match against Alexander Usyk, and he got a cut on the eyebrow, cut his head open, so he couldn't fight. And then John Bones Jones ripped his shoulder out.
Yeah.
Or tore his pec, so he couldn't fight Stipe.
Gotcha. Man, an injury simulator. That sounds that's going full send right there, man. That's when you really want it, when you have an injury simulator, right? But yeah, so he's a featherweight champion. I think Volkanovski is looking for a rematch already. He's already talked about a rematch.
Yeah, he wants it. He deserves it.
Wants his belt back, right? I mean, who doesn't?
Right.
So I've completely lost track of fighting. I mean, who are the names right now in UFC and MMA? Who do I even if I were going to start today? Who do you know? Max, do you watch a lot? Who are the 4 or 5 guys I need to keep an eye on?
In all of fighting?
Yeah, just because there's no real I used to be a boxing guy. I grew up with Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe. Right. And, it was exciting, and boxing it just doesn't do it for me anymore, man. I don't know.
Right. It's I mean, if you're looking at UFC, it's Michael Chandler called out Conor McGregor on Monday Night Raw.
Okay.
He said something to him live on air. Told him to get his butt in the ring because they have unfinished business. Because they were the Ultimate Fighter. They were the coaches. And at the end of the Ultimate Fighter, the coaches have to fight.
Okay.
And they haven't done that yet.
Okay.
But so Conor McGregor there.
I mean, McGregor's not ducking him, is he?
I mean, McGregor is in a new movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, Roadhouse.
Okay.
So
I don't know if I'm going to watch that movie, by the way.
I don't know either.
Like, I grew up watching the original Roadhouse. It's a little cheesy, but I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a classic too. I don't know. It's tough.
Right.
Tough look.
But no, it's like
Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, what's with Jake Gyllenhaal look like he could play the Incredible Hulk? By the way, like, what's going on there? It's just weird, right? Like,
right. He's had some good roles in the last couple years.
Anyway, what do we want to talk about? It's I don't know. I guess we could talk about hockey. Connor Bedard's back on the ice. We talked about him breaking his jaw a few weeks ago. We kind of speculated on how long he'd be out. He's been back on the ice for, the what I said. Did I just say the Blue Jackets? I meant to say the Blackhawks. If I said the Blue Jackets, I apologize.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Things come out of my mouth. I'm old. Again, I've said it on the show before. It's probably early onset dementia. I'm trying. Yeah, Connor Bedard's back on the ice. It didn't really help. I mean, the Blackhawks have lost 21 straight road games. I mean, they're in a slide.
Did you see what happened?
No.
Did you see what happened with him and Martin Jones, the goalie for the Hurricanes?
No.
So Bedard was fighting out front in the net. Someone shot it. Bedard tipped it. The puck was loose. And then one of the Hurricanes players swept it to the corner. Bedard was there with Jones. They got tangled up.
Okay.
Jones didn't like it because Jones was then put on his butt.
Oop, yep.
And
are you going to tweet his butt? Are you tweeting at it? Like we're tweeting at him. That's fine.
He was put on his butt and he had to sprawl around. And then at the end, like when the whistle blew for immediate timeout, Jones went over and shoulder checked him. Not hard, just bumped into him.
Yeah.
Bedard didn't like that. Third period rolls around. Bedard scores a goal that didn't count.
Okay.
Bedard stares down Jones. And then Jones, the goalie, gets on one knee, looks at Bedard, uses his hockey stick, and points to the scoreboard. The score was 5-2.
Yeah.
There's no really.
It's a fair response, right?
Right. Like, dude, why are you staring me down? You're getting killed right now. Like, you're getting destroyed.
Yeah.
Did it count? No, because it was offside.
And on top of the fact that it was a non-goal, yeah, I get it.
Right.
I think I always like the scoreboard comeback. I think that's always a good one.
Right.
I remember watching Ohio State a long time ago. It might have been like the early Urban Meyer years, and they were beating somebody, I don't know, like Eastern Michigan or somebody. It was like 70-3 or whatever, it was like really bad. And somebody made a play. Eastern Michigan got through the line, and I think they sacked the 18th string quarterback. They sacked the equipment manager back there. He had a ball, and the guy was kind of hooting and hollering, getting in somebody's face, and one of the offensive linemen kind of grabbed his shoulders and pointed him toward the scoreboard, and just you could see it on camera. It was hilarious. I saw it happen live. He kind of pointed him and just pointed up, hey man, just.
I remember that day. I remember that game.
It was just calm down, man. Yeah, I get it. That's funny. What else is happening? Oh, wow.
You're not gonna know how to say this.
What's that?
I don't think you're gonna know how to say this.
You don't think I'm gonna know how to say this?
Go ahead.
The Columbus Blue Jackets fired their general manager, and I absolutely know how to say general manager, Max. You know what else I know how to say? If you want to know what his name is, go to Google. You can type it up. You see it on the screen.
Okay.
No, is his first name? Do I pronounce it Jarmo? Is it Jarmo?
Yeah, it's Jarmo.
Jarmo Kekalainen.
Yeah, Kekalainen. Yeah.
Kekalainen. Okay, cool. Jarmo Kekalainen. I didn't want to take I wasn't going to take a stab at that live, but I decided to do it anyway. Anyway, he was fired by the Blue Jackets. I mean, I don't know, just sort of lackluster effort the last couple of seasons from Columbus. I don't know, right? I mean, I don't know if that's the GM's fault, but you got to get different guys on the ice now, right? I don't know.
He built good teams, and then when the bubble happened, that was the start of his downfall.
Yeah.
Because the year where they had the different divisions, the Canadian division, the Western division, the East, and then the.
They cut down on travel. Is that what they did it for?
Yeah, they cut down on travel, so the Canadian team stayed up in Canada.
Gotcha.
The teams in the Central, so Columbus, Chicago. I don't know how Carolina was in our division. It really didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Florida was in it. Dallas.
At that point, it just feels alphabetical, I guess. I don't know.
Right. So those guys, they were in the division. That was the year they got Patrick Laine.
Okay.
So that was one of his good moves that he made.
Right.
But we got rid of a person who was at the time pretty cancerous to the team.
Yeah.
But then that's when they got rid of their coach after a horrible season. But he went to the Stanley Cup playoffs in a bubble year.
Gotcha.
It was a weird year for everybody. Not really any coaches got fired but him.
Yeah.
I mean, not fired. It was the end of his deal and they didn't want to renew it.
Okay. Let him go. Yeah. Mutually
so
part.
It's the thing was then they were that year. That was a down year. They always have a down year, but then they had a worse year than that, and then they had another worse year than that.
Okay.
So then there's this year. They're 17, 27, and 10.
Gotcha.
At one point, they were only 5 games under 500, and they were doing good. And then something happened where they just all fell down.
I gotcha. So I think it's weird to go for the GM first. No, isn't that a weird?
Well, the coach got thrown into the fire pretty quickly.
Okay.
Because they hired Mike Babcock, but then he went through a player's phone. They didn't like that. They fired him.
I remember that. Yeah.
He acquainted with all the players and he was coaching them and everything.
Yeah.
This head coach got thrown into the fire 2 weeks before the season started.
Like you do.
So it's and he was coaching in the AHL.
Gotcha.
So that's the under of the NHL. So he just got thrown in, and it's his first time coaching NHL. So I understand why it's a bit down.
Yeah, that's a heck of a jump, man. I mean, that's a lot of responsibility.
He's a good coach.
Yeah.
He's a good coach. It's just he got thrown into the fire, and their hype video is him meeting with the guys for the first time.
Oh wow!
It's when they're about to go on a road trip.
That's all the footage they have.
Literally, it's him in a meeting room talking with them about what we're gonna do.
Wow.
And all he wants them to do is get better. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all That's all they want to do is the team to get better, back to the form they were.
It's understandable. I mean, I think with anybody, like anybody else at any new job, and when you get thrown in like that, it's going to take some time to kind of, get your lay of the land and figure out the people and the responsibilities and everything else. I mean, you got to give them some time, right?
Right. There's been a thing with the goalie, the goalie controversy. At one point they had 3 goalies playing.
Yeah.
So they had to play, one guy, their best goalie sat out for a month because they were trying to get a guy back from hip surgery going before they cut a guy.
Wow. Yeah, maybe it was time to fire the GM. That seems like a mess.
I don't understand why you're playing 3 goalies when your goalie last year was doing okay.
Yeah, that seems like a big mess, honestly. That sounds like the problems I get into when I try to run online dynasties and stuff, like video games.
I have a super team in NHL.
Yeah, I'll end up $30 million over the salary cap with 5 quarterbacks on the roster or something, doing a Madden dynasty. I'm like, what's happening right now?
I had to turn salary cap off because of my team.
Yeah, I'm not. It turns out I'm not a financial. I'm a roster builder. I can build a roster. Okay, Andrew Barry, if you're listening, I can help, but I'm not a financial guy. So Paul DePodesta, no, I can't help you, man. Sorry. Right. It's whatever. Pretty sure I just got a job with the Browns. What else can we talk about? I guess we have to move on. We don't have to move on. We don't have to do anything. We can talk about this all day, but we're going to move on to college basketball because I don't know. I guess we said we are. What happened here this weekend? We talked about number 1 UConn. Well, they were number 1.
They were.
They were number 1. We'll see what happens now. But we talked about them playing Marquette over the weekend. They blew Marquette out of the gym, man. What was the final? 81-53. They just ran Marquette out of there. But then UConn got what you said they got blown out last night. By who?
Yeah, they got blown out by 15 Creighton, 81-66.
Okay. Creighton's one of those new money basketball schools, right? They're kind of whatever.
I mean, they used to be really good.
Yeah.
But then they fell into a mid-major. Yeah. They're starting to get back.
Yeah, good for them. So yeah, they took out number 1 UConn. When UConn looked like they were the clear favorite to win back-to-back titles.
We said it last week. College basketball's up in the air right now. As we're going to talk about it in 5 seconds, you'll see why.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. You really will see why because listen, of all of the unlikely upsets that could have happened in college basketball, I never would have picked this one. Ohio State and interim coach Jake Diebler. Pick up a win against number 2 Purdue. Sometimes you just infuse some energy into a group of guys and you get something really good, right? I mean, I think that's what happened here.
We talked about it. We talked about it, and then 20 minutes later, Chris Holtman got fired.
Yeah, I think we made that happen. That was the reverse come on ref curse, right?
Dean Smith.
Yeah. Maybe it was his one last thing before he got out of there. But I think it had to be done. I think Holtman, as much as I've heard, he's a great guy. No problem there.
Lost to Oral Roberts.
Yeah, no problem. Just a couple years ago, they beat Duke, in one of the preseason tournaments, whatever. I wanted Holtman to get it together, but he just never could quite put the roster together the right way. They never really could hold on to a lead under Holtman. I don't know. It just seemed like don't know, the whole thing was just kind of a mess, wasn't it? It just seemed unorganized, didn't it?
I went to Ohio State 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I was gonna go watch Ohio State versus Maryland. Did Ohio State won that game? It was a good game, but we didn't because that Tuesday before I left, they blew an 18-point lead to Indiana.
Yeah. And it's like the fifth time they've blown a significant second half lead this year. Like, I mean,
hey, it's like the Columbus Blue Jackets in the third period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, maybe those Columbus teams need to learn how to hold a lead.
What's going on in Columbus? Yeah. I'll tell you, man. We got a coach. We got a coach on the hot seat who's 56-8 down there. What is happening in Columbus? Like the sports scene in Columbus is weird. Right. Although it's kind of fun to see Ohio State open up the NIL money a little bit, right? Like,
right. They
you think that's going to help them in basketball? Does that help now?
It might. You never know. I mean, you know that there's more money in that football program than there is in any sporting program in that school.
For sure. Or any academic program or anything else. I mean, yeah, football. I mean, obviously, football's the money maker. I get it.
Football team, like, it's insane.
Yeah.
And now, speaking of Ohio, the Stadium Series is going to Columbus next year.
Ah, okay.
So it'll be, yeah.
Okay.
We'll you're going to have to invest more money in that.
Obviously, yeah, more money. That's all it is. What else happened in college basketball over the week? Oh, Caitlin Clark. I should say Caitlin Clark is now she's not the college all-time lead. She's the NCAA women's all-time leading scorer now. She passed Kelsey Plum with, obviously she hit a three from the logo to do it because that's how that was going to happen.
That's Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, exactly. It's like expecting a big shot from Steph Curry and expected it to not come from 41 feet out, right? But yeah, she hit a three, whatever, to pass Kelsey Plum. She, I think, is still sitting at three. She may be, I'm not sure what's happened between then and now, but last I heard, she was at 3,569 career points, which is, I mean, she's just a little bit off. She's within range of Pete Maravich to be the all-time NCAA leading scorer, period, for men and women.
How many does he have?
I mean, it's really impressive, man. She's a shooter. She's a player. I think she's going to make the WNBA more exciting to watch, don't you?
Yeah, it's just like Sabrina, like how we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we will get to that in a moment. Yeah.
Sabrina was like, remember when she was at Oregon, like she was the face of college basketball for the women.
Yep.
And then she went to the WNBA and she started to become the face of that.
Yeah. And I mean, she's holding up her end of the bargain too. I mean, like I said, we'll talk about it in a minute. The thing with Steph Curry over the weekend was maybe the best part of the All-Star weekend.
Maybe.
I mean, other than the floor, I don't know. The floor was cool. Was it cool? I don't know. We'll talk about that in a minute too. We'll get to that. Let's actually just move on because, we talked about it earlier. The score I mean, my goodness, man.
Were we bowling or were we shooting a ball into a hoop?
What's that?
I said, were we bowling or were the players shooting a ball into a hoop?
I mean, seriously, I thought maybe they just I thought maybe they decided to skip the actual game and they just did like a pop-a-shot contest. They put a bunch of quarters in the machine and they're like, just go, guys, just shoot all day, whatever. The tickets are going to come out. You can go get a stuffed animal if you win. I mean, 211 to 186. Like, what? I didn't watch. I'll be honest, I didn't watch.
The East was the first team to do it, to get to 200.
200 points. I mean, a couple of years ago, in 2006, I think the final score of the All-Star game was like 108 to 104. I mean,
fouls were not called this game.
Yeah.
3 of them were called.
I mean, was anything called? Did they do anything? I mean, how many shots were taken?
In 2004, there was like 31 or like around 30 fouls called.
Right.
And it's like
Donald, we got to talk, man, because it made you go to sleep. Oh, okay. I thought that was the second thing that made you go to sleep. I said, maybe you're narcoleptic, man. You might want to get that looked at, but you're good. You're good. It was the same thing. We're all good. Sports Diva said, yeah, I knew the East would take the W. Yeah, I mean, yeah, me too, I guess. I don't know. It's wild that LeBron James was in his 20th All-Star game. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think. 211 to 186. I meant to look at the stats for this. I just wanted to see the number, the volume of shots taken in this game has to be very impressive.
There was 186 3-point attempts. Yes,
I think you're slightly off. The Sports Diva said it was 1,577,688 shots. That sounds about right, honestly.
Probably.
That's yeah.
And you know what's funny? Andre Iguodala and Larry Bird went into the locker rooms before the game, and they told them to play the competitive here, guys. This is for the fans. Give them a good game like it was in Cleveland.
Right.
And what did they do? Put up 211 points.
I mean, hey, the offense went ham. I don't know what the defense did, but the offense went ham on this.
Is it just the age, like the era of like basketball that we're in?
Yeah.
Or do these guys not care? Like they just,
I don't know, but listen, and emojis, maybe you're right. Maybe we need the All-Star game gone. It's not, I didn't watch it. I used to always tune in. It used to be a spectacle. Remember? Well, you don't remember, Max, because you weren't alive, but when Magic Johnson came back and played in the All-Star game, I think it was 1992. It was like magical, man. Like you had to tune in, and like the uniforms were awesome. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because I was a kid or whatever, but it was just so much more fun to watch back then. Everything was so much more fun to watch. We'll get to it in a minute. The dunk contest was more fun to watch. I mean, this year's dunk contest winner, Max, he doesn't even play in the NBA. It's the back-to-back winner. The guy's not even an NBA guy.
Years. Like, I remember the days where it used to be Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine. Aaron Gordon was on the Magic. Zach LaVine was on the Timberwolves. Those were the dunk contest days.
I don't think you're correct. I think the days were when I was a kid, man, and maybe I'm wrong again. I think it's just our formative years coming at us, man. They're screaming at us. But like Spud Webb winning the dunk contest at 5'7", man. Dominique Wilkins doing all the windmill. I mean, Michael Jordan in a couple years in a row. I mean, it was crazy. I don't know. D Brown did
You said 5'7"?
Yeah, Spud Webb was 5'7", man.
And he won the dunk contest?
He won the dunk contest, 1985. 85 or 86. I don't remember when it was. But yeah, I mean, to me, those were the days. And like I said, you remember what you remember. You weren't alive. You can't. I mean, how could those be the days for you? But yeah, I mean, it just was, yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, McClung is a beast. That's why he jumped over Shaq or whatever. That was cool. Man, poor Shaq, by the way, just getting kicked in the back of the head the whole dunk contest and whatever. People
it's funny because last season when Mac McClung, when he won, he was on the Philadelphia 76ers G League team.
Yeah.
And when he won, they bought out his two-way contract and made it a one-way.
Yeah.
For the NBA. Did he ever play? No.
I don't know. I don't know.
He might have, but I don't remember. I'm not a 76ers fan, so I wouldn't care. But
yeah.
But now he's on the
I'm not into the process. Yeah.
Right. Like now are the Magic going to buy out his G League and make him play? No. Yeah. Like, the Magic got problems of their own. They were number 4, and now they're number 8. Like, figure out that before you bring a new guy up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I get it. It's fun. God, I just don't know. Like, it's just not. It's not enough for me to want to tune in. Yeah, I agree. The sports diva. He's a beast. He's jumping over people. I mean, the double clutch dunk was cool. He's athletic. I mean, let's not get it twisted. He's very athletic. It's fun to watch. But I feel like, I don't know, I had more fun watching like the And One mixtapes back in the day. Didn't you? Do you remember those?
Devon Austin Prime highlights.
Yeah, man. Like those were fun to me. Like that to me had those videos all have more energy than almost the whole entire All-Star weekend to me.
It's like these guys are worse than the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah.
The Harlem Globetrotters actually make it a game.
Yeah.
But it's enjoyable for the fans.
I know. The NBA's got to do something with the All-Star weekend. I thought the one cool part was Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu. I thought that was fun. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. I mean, that was really close. Man, Steph, I don't know, barely got her, man. I don't know. I think I saw a lot of people. I thought this was like a weird take online. People were saying that she should have used a men's ball or that Curry should have shot, from the shorter line. And I don't really understand why. I mean, they're both going strength versus strength. Like, what's the problem? Like,
I mean, using the same ball, like, if they use the same ball, it might throw her shot off completely. Mm-hmm. And it might not be a game.
Right.
And then also, she chose to do it from the men's three-point line. Yeah. She said it was something that she wanted to do when they knew they were going to do this. Yeah. She said, I want to shoot from the men's line.
Yeah. Well, listen, why? Like, I feel like in sports, it's a thing. Like, why do we reach so far to discredit females? Why do we do that? Like, why can't we just enjoy the spectacle? Be like, hey, that was cool, man. Like, Steph Curry just went against Sabrina Ionescu. They're the two best shooters in basketball, period. Right? That's it.
No one can enjoy it because, like, Sabrina holds the all-time record for three-point contests in men and women's. She made 31.
I mean,
It's like
there it is.
At least she had the balls to go face Steph Curry, who's probably one of the best three-point shooters in NBA history.
Yeah.
From the men's line and go toe-to-toe with him, only to lose on the last shot.
Yeah. Dude, she's tough. Women are tough, man. I don't like how we don't give women enough credit in sports. We always, like I said, we reach to discredit them so fast. Oh yeah, but we hit the but the competition. I mean, the competition's all relative, man. I mean, just give credit where
their season in the summer.
What's that?
Doesn't just because their season, like the WNBA, they play in the summer and they end in the fall.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that they're not as good as the NBA players. They're in the WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association. The NBA is still in that with a W in front of it.
It's as good as it gets. I mean,
it's what Caitlin Clark's probably going number 1 overall.
No, for sure.
And whoever else is in this class is going to be drafted, and those people are going to shine.
Yeah, and I like with NIL now, like these people, like these girls are starting to get some there's some name recognition now, and I think it's because they can kind of seek out their own channels, and they can be relatable to you because now we see them, right? They can find their own advertising. I love this. I like this.
Right. Go back 5-6 years ago. When you watched March Madness, did you barely see any women's games on on your television?
Barely at all. Listen, I can remember not too long ago. I think it was maybe even the Final Four or like a regional stop or somewhere along the way in the NCAA women's tournament where a team showed up and they didn't even have a practice floor. Like there were like tables and chairs and like their lunch was like a 2 pieces of bread and like 1 piece of meat. Like they're not treated the same as the men.
It's like how it's like I remember like I only like back in like 2016, 2017, I only heard about women's college basketball March Madness when the Final Four was on TV. Yeah. That's all they cared about.
Yeah. You can't tell me there's not plenty of good basketball from all the conference tournaments, all the come on, man. I mean,
like the men are getting all the credit, like they're getting all the TV they're getting all of their games on TV.
Yeah. And I get it. Listen, I understand the financial side of it. I understand the argument. Right. Somebody's going to say, well, the men bring in all the money. And I get that. Okay. But here's my thing. We signed my daughter up for softball. She's going to play softball this summer. Okay. And I was trying to find some softball on TV the other night. I want her to just kind of like see the game, how it goes a little bit so she can kind of understand it. It's really hard to find, but I can find 4 or 5 college baseball games on at any given time when it starts. Right. I can't find softball on TV, and it's hard for I want my daughter to be able to grow up like I did. I want her to grow up and see role models on TV. I want her to be able to watch women's college softball or the WNBA or whatever. I want her to be able to find those. If she has an inkling to head toward any sport, I want her to be able to find her role models. Like she shouldn't have to relate to Steph Curry or Draymond Green or whoever we make the face of whatever sport. I mean, I don't know. I wish we gave the women more credit. I mean, all the way down to high school, it's really good basketball going on. I don't know. I wish it was more equal. I wish it wasn't again, I understand the money argument. I understand that men's sports, especially at the college level, bring in all the money. Sure, that's fine. But just the way that we don't even try to lift up women or females in sports. There's so many guys that are so quick to stomp them out. And I don't understand that attitude. What do you not have mothers and daughters and sisters and wives? I don't, why the anger? Why would you not try to lift up other people, man? That's my problem with it. I don't know. Maybe I'm on my soapbox or whatever, but I have a big problem with that.
Right.
Whatever. I don't know how we got on that, but I don't know. What else was cool about the All-Star weekend? I guess the floor was kind of cool. And the sports diva just said it right here in the comment. Unfortunately, will never be equal. And I think you're right. I hate to say that because I talk to my daughter every day. I tell my daughter hey, you can go get anything you want in this world. You can do anything you want. And sometimes I wonder if that's true because there are people that will actively try to hold you back just because you're a female. And I don't know, man. Whatever. Like I said, maybe we don't need to talk about that on this show. But I think about that a lot, raising a daughter, and it bothers me. Whatever. But yeah, I put up a little graphic of the floor. Just see, no video or anything. I didn't want to do that again. Last time we put an NBA video up, we ended up off YouTube. But I put up a couple of pictures of the way the floor looked. If we can just maybe throw that graphic up, it was crazy. It had like the motion capability. I saw one of the dunks that there was flames on the floor falling around Jaime Jaquez rather. I thought that was pretty cool. But there, yeah, you can see it kind of in action a little bit. Max, did you find this distracting or
the 3-point contest? Yes, I found that very distracting.
Yeah,
because it's it was sponsored by Starry, but man, that is too bright of a green and yellow to put on a floor.
It's a lot to look at. I mean, it's really a lot.
The skills contest, I like that because it was like a pathway for the players to follow, so they didn't get confused.
Yeah.
And then the dunk contest, I like that one, but
yeah.
3-point contest. It's like that one Seinfeld thing where like they open the door and it's just bright red. I saw someone
edit restaurant. It. Yeah, the chicken restaurant. Yes.
I saw someone edit it and it said, "What is it?" And it goes, "It's the Starry 3-point contest on NBA All-Star Weekend." And it was just a green reflection.
That's awesome. That's really
someone
funny.
Did that earlier
they switch roles. Remember, Jerry goes over to Kramer's spot. That's funny.
It was. They did that earlier with the 76ers in-season tournament court. Like, remember how they had those weird courts and the Cavs played on it? And they did it. It's the Cavs versus 76ers in the in-season tournament.
Yeah, the boys here. You can read it. The game and the skills set. Yeah, it's very boring. It is, and again, maybe I'm getting older. Maybe I'm out of touch or whatever. The dunk contest is fun, but the Sports Diva. I agree, it's fun. I just wish it was like, I don't know. I wish it was the stars again. Good for Jaylen Brown. I mean, obviously he's a legit star, and these guys are good players, but it's just not like Jordan and Dominique Wilkins and Spud Webb. Like, the name recognition was crazy when I was a kid. I think that was cool. And a lot of people, by the way, falsely, and I don't have a graphic for this, but someone sent me a graphic. A lot of people blame LeBron James for superstars not competing in the dunk contest, right? It started way before him. Like, if you look, and you can look this up, you can Google it, the number of all-stars, okay, in the actual dunk contest. And there's a whole big hole, like, in the early to mid 90s, like once Jordan was done with it in the late 80s or whatever, 91, 92, 93, like 90, all those years, there were no all-stars in the dunk contest. So this didn't start with LeBron James. That's been falsely attributed to him. That's not his fault. You can't blame him for that. Maybe he flops sometimes, but he didn't kill the dunk contest. So that's the thing. Max, I don't know. I mean, would you rather see more superstars in this thing, or does it matter to you?
I mean, I said it earlier. I said, like, Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon. Those are the dunk contests I remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember any other dunk contest. Those were 2 straight years of great dunk contests.
Yeah.
That came down to the final dunks.
Well, what was great about it? Like, what do you remember? I mean, what made them great? Is there something that you can kind of pinpoint and go, hey, if the NBA could catch this lightning in a bottle every year, it could be good?
It's like, so the one year, Aaron Gordon won it both years by dunking over the Magic mascot. He jumped, put the ball between his legs, and then dunked it. Zach LaVine
isn't that what Mac McClung basically? Because now Shaq is like the de facto Magic mascot, right? He has jersey retired. I mean,
I talked about it. Me and Bryan here talked about it. They need to change the judges.
Yeah.
The Dwayne Wade gives it a 9. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that week, like that one thing that went on for the rest of the season? And he dunked. Everyone said, "Oh, Dwayne Wade gives it a 9."
The meme, I remember.
Get rid of those. Like, put some celebrity judges on there.
Well, I mean,
celebrities from the a celebrity game. Put some of those people on there.
Okay.
Because you got those analysts who do it.
What if we had like a full Olympic style, like technical, like, you know what I mean? What if we did what if instead of like a bunch of dudes just going, whatever, here's a 47 because it's the first card I could find, but that's a 47. What if I don't know. What if there was a I don't know, like an actual technical like degree of difficulty? Like what if you had to like, clear your dunk with the judges before and they knew I don't know, because I feel like some of the judges just didn't even know what was going to happen. Like they watched the dunk and they didn't catch certain parts of the dunks or whatever, right? Like
it's like Shaq was a judge and he was being included in it.
Yeah.
Like remember when Dwight Howard brought out a 12-foot hoop?
Yeah. I was just thinking about that the other day. Yes, I do remember that.
It's like that stuff too. Like Dwight Howard bringing a 12-foot hoop out.
Let's get rid of Kenny Smith.
Oladipo.
Yes, let's get rid of Kenny Smith.
Victor Oladipo wearing the Black Panther mask with Chadwick Boseman courtside.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really
That is the stuff that needs to happen. Like
that was a cool moment, man. My son loves Black Panther. Sal would have loved that,
man. It's like I don't know. It's just like they're doing 2 G League guys versus 2 NBA players.
Okay, look. That's fun. The Sports Diva. Call in and vote like American Idol does. Have a commercial break where like America calls in and votes on like people love to be involved,
that's
right?
Good, yeah.
That's a really good idea. If we can do it with American Idol, we can do it with the dunk contest. The NBA has that technology. They have a floor that shows you where people are going. I mean, yeah, we can do that, right?
Right.
I think that's a really good idea. Yeah, have a fan competition to be part of the panel. Like, well, yeah, what if a fan like a season ticket holder from whatever arena maybe they're
whatever
the
host the longest season ticket holder gets
or like a kid. You have like a celebrity kid, not a celebrity, but like they're the celebrity for the day. They win a contest.
More celebrities a part of it.
Yeah,
because these NBA analysts, all they like when they get to watch the games in between halftime and stuff.
Yeah,
so they're watching these guys. And like some of them, like they see film on them, and then
can we get kids to cover the event one year? Like I love Allie LaForce. Like she's a Cleveland person. Like it was great to see her out there. She did a great job. I'm not, she can be a part of it as well. I'm not trying to. I don't want to axe her from the coverage or whatever. But like, what if we had kids that covered the dunk contest, right? Like, can you imagine like a 10, 11-year-old kid out there covering that'd be fun, right? That would make it worth watching. There's all kinds of stuff they could do to make it worth watching.
Right.
Let's contact NBA. Are you anybody? Adam Silver? Is anybody on? Can we get Adam Silver in the comments? Is he on? No, he's not watching. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, but I don't know, man. We could do this. We could make it more fan interactive. We can make it more fun, right? Because the players aren't carrying the weight anymore. It's not what it used to be. Sorry. I don't mean that to whatever. It's just not what it used to be. But let's just move on from basketball. And listen, spring training is underway, and I love this time of year for this. I love baseball. I've got my grapefruit and my cactus up there, my cacti, I guess I should say. But listen, man, I love this time of year because hope is abound. Hope springs eternal. Everybody's in first place right now. Everybody's 0-0. Everybody thinks they have a chance to win the division. Hey man, if we can get 180 innings out of this guy, or if this guy stays healthy in the 3-hole, we can do whatever. Man, I love it, right? Like everybody's got a shot right now. Mac, do you have any early odds-on favorites? I mean, do we just give the title to the Diamondbacks? Boy said must be the A's. Yeah,
obviously the Dodgers are the heavy favorites, heavy favorites. But behind, you got to look at it. The Dodgers have had super teams like this before, and what have they done?
They won a bubble year title. No one gives them credit.
Bubble year title.
Poor LA, man. Poor LA. The Dodgers, the Lakers, no one gives them credit for those bubble year titles. That's not fair, right? It's a title.
But it's like you got to think of it too. They lost. They had pitching, they had hitting, they had Mookie Betts, they had Freddie Freeman, and they lost to the last team to get in. To the playoffs.
Hey, I can relate. The Braves didn't do much better. I mean, the boys said the Dodgers will break the record for most wins in a season and then get swept in the first round. Maybe you're right.
Right. That's exactly. Yeah. But it's
119 wins and then see you later.
Right. I want to say the Dodgers will win.
Yeah.
But the Dodgers will hit an injury plague.
Well, everybody's going. By the way, Well, wait. We might hold on. Let's talk about this because speaking of injuries, we might see a little bit less of maybe a little more conservative use. I'll say of the injured list this year. Did you see the Mets GM that got suspended for a year?
Yeah, I
for
did.
misusing. Okay, so now I think that's a baseball wide thing. I don't know why the Mets got hammered for it. I think it's hilarious. As a Braves fan, it's not fair. I'm sure every single team has done this, right? Especially now with the 10-day, because you get guys, that's why they wanted it moved back from 15 to 10. So if a guy's struggling, you can throw him on the injured list. You can say, oh, he tweaked a hammy or whatever. He's got an arm thing, a wrist, whatever. And you can get a hot bat from AAA in there without using up too many options. There's some things you can do. If you try a guy out, you don't have to send him down. You can say, well, he's got a calf thing, whatever. You don't have to prove an injury. So I don't know. It's just funny that the Mets got nabbed for that, but I don't know. But we could see maybe a little more of a conservative use to the injured list. So you may not have these 28, 30 man rosters that basically baseball teams were floating with. Kind of that gray area, living in the gray area. I think it's smart. I think it's really smart. I don't think it was a huge violation. I thought it was a really smart use of the way the rules are set up, but whatever. I just wanted to say that while you were talking about the injuries. But yeah, I think everybody's going to have, that problem happen. But when you've got so many guys that are so highly paid, the problem is you lack depth, right?
Right.
So I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, the Tyler Glasnow barely played last year, and they're expecting big things from him. Shohei Ohtani played, but he was playing hurt majority of the season.
Yeah.
But yesterday, I'm going to go to the Phillies here now. I think the Phillies have a chance here.
Yeah, the Phillies are really good.
Because the Phillies owner
lost Rhys Hoskins though.
Yeah, but they did that last year without him. They went to the NLCS.
We talked about that on the show. They proved that they don't necessarily, need him. Yeah.
So
don't say that, but
the Phillies owner and general manager went into the locker room after a workout one day, sat everybody around, all the coaches, everybody. He said to them, he was fuming. He said, "I want our trophy back. Go get it." Okay. He literally. And there was an F-bomb in there. He literally said, "Go get our effing trophy. Yeah. I want it back."
Yep.
He says, "Go get it."
He said flipping. Wow, amazing.
Right.
No, listen, the Phillies have a cool thing going on right now. I'm a Braves fan. I don't like to see it or whatever, but at the same time, you love to see it. They're tough. They're tough as nails, man.
Right.
They endure a 162-game season. And then somehow they turn it on in the playoffs. They find an extra gear. I mean, they've done it the last 2 years. They almost, they almost rode it to the World Series last year. But, it's fine. They scare me a little bit because they're like that. They're like the Phillies from the 90s. I mean, they're like, Lenny Dykstra, John Kruk. I mean, they're nails, right? They called Lenny Dykstra nails.
They're
tough.
Chad, what happens when you hear Bryce Harper's theme song in October? What happens? Do you get scared?
Well, yeah, of course. Why don't get scared? But I know what's about to happen, and I wish remember the whole thing with Orlando Arcia when Arcia kind of called him out, and then Harper hit those 2 home runs and stared him down.
Right,
man. Look, as an athlete, that was fun for me. As a Braves fan, it stunk. It was whatever, but it was cool to see Bryce Harper respond to the call out. Man, it was fun.
I was in Indiana the night they won.
Okay.
I was watching that game from a family member's house in Indiana.
Okay.
And Bryce Harper pulled up. I'm like, oh, watch this. Here's what they hit, and he hit a nuke.
He's that dude, man.
He's
that dude. I love that. I love to see that. You call a guy out, he responds immediately. What else do you want as an athlete?
Any player.
Yeah.
You want any player on your organization or on your team. As soon as they get called out for something, they bounce right back from it and they prove them wrong.
Yeah. And nobody's asking. I know nobody cares about the Braves, but that's why I like the Chris Sale move, because they bring in Chris Sale, and Chris Sale might not give you 225 innings. He might not give you 150 innings, but he is going to be in the clubhouse regardless, and he's the ultimate competitor.
Right.
I'm sorry. You were just talking and moving on one of my views of you and not on the other. That was crazy, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Chris Sale might get another arm surgery. You never know with that guy.
You never know. He might see a 2-for-1, shoulder and elbow deal and just pick it up, right? But listen, he's the ultimate competitor. He's the absolute ultimate competitor. He's a tough guy. I mean, he's been there for a week, and the Braves are already talking about how, hey, this guy's changing the clubhouse. And it reminds me of the way they talked about Jock Peterson when Jock Peterson came over, and he was just he had a completely different. He was just I don't know. He was a different dude. He just brought a different edge. I've talked about it on the show before. He brought something different to the Braves, right? Yeah, might also be the best pitcher in the National League, maybe if he's healthy. Listen, Sale is ultimate. Like I said, he's the ultimate competitor. I don't know what he's got left in the tank, but I want him in the clubhouse. I want him to. I feel like Spencer Strider could really benefit from having Chris Sale around. Strider's already a competitor, and I think Sale is going to push him to that next level. And maybe Max Fried has a nice year before the contract year if he can avoid the blisters or the weird little illnesses, things that have plagued him. I don't want to call him injury prone. He's just had a lot of weird little things or whatever over the last couple of years, but it's whatever. We also have to talk about this, man. Did you see Anthony Rendon? What he said? He said baseball's not a top priority for him. And listen, looking at the context of it, and I know the boys, I know you're going to have something to say about this. You're an Angels fan. He put faith and family kind of first, and I understand that. Yeah. But maybe after the talk of like Rendon's been nothing but a walking injury since he came over to the Angels, right? He's barely been on the field. He keeps saying that the season needs to be shorter. It's not a top priority for him. It can't be a good look for Angels fans.
I mean, plus you lost Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
Like you got big shoes to fill now. Like Mike Trout can't do it all himself.
No, he can't. And he can't.
He's gonna do his best for that franchise, but I mean he can't do it himself. I mean, did last year them losing Logan O'Hoppe, their catcher, really affect them big time? Yeah. I went to an Angels game.
Yeah.
Those fans are so faithful, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, the one Angels fan that I know is a really, really, really good baseball fan. I mean, the boys, you're right here in the chat right now. Listen, I want good things for them, man. It's a cool organization. I remember their days of success. I mean, they were fun to watch, early 2000s, whatever. I'd love to see the Angels win again. But speaking of that, let's talk about our local team here. Do you have any expectations at all for the Guardians? Like, can they win this division? Can they compete for a wild card? Like, what do you see them doing this year?
They can win the division. They can most definitely win the division.
It's not a good one.
I mean, the rotation's there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Bieber's playing.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll be a Guardian all year. He might not be. He could be. I think they signed him to a 1-year arbitration deal, so he will be. But then you got Bybee, who's second place rookie of the year, so he did very well. Yeah. Gavin Williams, Logan Allen, and Tristan McKenzie's coming back. So that's key because last year they didn't have any pitching. That's why they didn't.
Yeah, the McKenzie injury, like day one. I mean, that was right.
That's why they didn't do as well as they did.
Yeah.
Plus, I think losing Tristan McKenzie in his first game back against Houston, that one series, that was big.
The boys, real quick, I'm sorry. Really, Montgomery or Snell? Okay. All right. That would be huge. That would be a huge splash for the Angels. I don't know, man. I just think the Guardians are going to have to hit it. They're going to have to hit the ball.
I mean, Bo Naylor's going to be the catcher.
Yeah.
That's already been established. He has Stephen Vogt, his manager, who was a catcher for 10-plus years. Yeah. Sandy Alomar, the best catcher in Guardians Indians history. And then Austin Hedges is back after he won a World Series.
Yeah.
That's 3 catchers and a manager and a coach to mold him into what he can be.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. I love the idea of going with a manager or going with a catcher for a manager, by the way. I've said it on the show before. Right. It's the move. I mean,
catchers make the best managers.
Yeah. Yeah. They're the guy. Period. Right. Absolutely they do. Absolutely they do. Well, listen, it's baseball. It's still spring training. It's early. Dodgers and Padres are going to get this thing going on Thursday. First spring training games are happening this week. That's tomorrow. Wild. I can't believe that. But it's baseball season, so that makes us happy. And real quick, we just I can't believe how fast time goes on this show when we sit around and talk sports. But I want to talk about just some NFL stuff a little bit because we've got some draft and free agency questions. And Max, I just want to ask you: the draft is coming up. We got a couple months until we get there. But who's your first player off the board? Do you have any idea anymore?
No, because I've been hearing that Drake May is going number 2. I don't really know because, and the Bears, what are they doing with Justin Fields?
No one knows. The Bears don't know what they're doing.
You have to keep him in the mix in this draft.
Yeah. You saw he doesn't follow the Bears.
He doesn't follow the Bears anymore.
Right? Yeah.
He's favored to go to Pittsburgh and second favored to go to Atlanta.
Yeah. But now I heard Russell Wilson's coming to Pittsburgh. Chad Johnson he didn't tell me, but Chad Johnson says that Russell Wilson's coming over to Pittsburgh now.
But you also got to look at it. Will the Bears make a trade at the deadline so that I think if the Bears draft another quarterback, Justin Fields leaves. He's out. Justin Fields wants out.
Yeah.
But
you're talking about Caleb Williams, I mean?
Yeah. Right. When Caleb Williams gets drafted to the Chicago Bears, he'll want an ownership stake, and the first move he's going to make as the owner of the Chicago Bears is cutting Justin Fields from his football team.
He's going to cut all quarterbacks from the roster. I'm the only guy. That's funny.
But it's
we'll pick up Joe Flacco, right? No problem.
You got to look at it too. The Bears need an offensive line.
They do.
Joe Alt is projected to go very high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I think you've got to pick up somebody. Listen, if Fields has some protection, the Fields to Pittsburgh intrigues me because I think Fields is a guy who's kind of built for the AFC North. No,
he definitely is.
I mean, he's got maybe not the best deep ball. I know that you struggle a little bit in the winter if you don't have a good deep ball. The AFC North can beat, but you don't have to throw a deep ball to be successful either, right? I mean, I think the fact that he can run the ball kind of negates that. I mean, that's another thing you have to keep an eye on is the defense. I think he's built for this division. We'll keep an eye on that. Maybe that's the thing. I don't know. We'll see. Russell Wilson to Pittsburgh doesn't scare me as much.
No, I'm not scared about that.
No, but Fields, I think having a dynamic athlete like Justin Fields, man, can you imagine being a defensive coordinator and in your division is Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson at quarterback?
Right.
I mean,
imagine if Fields goes to Pittsburgh and they opened him up.
Oh yeah.
They let him loose like Ohio State. They literally let him fly. Justin, go onto the field and play your game.
Yeah. Hey, no pun intended there. Right, Fields. Anyway, and speaking of the draft, what are the Browns? Where I don't know. Where do the Browns need to improve? Like, what should their priorities be? What's their focus going into this draft? Do you think, or in free agency, or really, it doesn't matter.
Free agency, they need. I mean, I want to. Did you hear the reports recently, Chad? Of that possibly cutting Nick Chubb to make room for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Did you hear about
that? I don't think we knew about the knee injury, but like we knew something like this was going to happen when he got $250 million guaranteed, right? Like something was going to happen roster wise that wasn't going to make us happy in the next 3 to 5 years, essentially.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think that maybe Nick Chubb won't ever be Nick Chubb again, and I got to tell you, man, that makes me really sad. Not just as a Browns fan, but just for him personally, that makes me sad. Like that's tough, man. But
like you get hurt, and then it's like Baker Mayfield. He got hurt, and then we gave up on him.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen with Chubb. I don't want him to have a horrible knee injury, and then us as a team and a fan base give up on him.
Yeah. And I understand you have to move on. You have to cut your losses. You have to do what you have to do as a franchise. But, man, Nick Chubb is just a guy who I feel like he deserves all the best things, right? Like
the thing
he deserves to have good things happen to him, man. And so far it's been tough.
Right. But my thing is, what are you going to do with O-line now? DeJuan Jones was an all-rookie.
Yeah.
You can't just put him on the bench behind Conklin again. You can't do that.
Yeah. They're going to have to make some decisions there.
I mean, Jedrick Wills was playing good football before he got hurt.
Yeah, Jedrick Wills. Yeah, he stepped it up. I mean, he was a guy who actually he took that step forward. I mean, he had a really nice rookie year, and then he disappeared for a while.
Right.
It was good to see him kind of come back. And was that the Bill Callahan effect? Did Callahan finally start to get through to him?
But now Callahan's gone.
Yeah.
So what happens now?
I don't know.
Because Jack Conklin's a walking knee injury waiting to happen.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's like I don't want DeJuan Jones to go away. DeJuan Jones shut down T.J. Watt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Literally shut him down.
Yeah, I think for DeJuan Jones being a third-round pick, I mean, I think you've gotten way more value than you could have expected out of him his first year. He had a great season.
Imagine if DeJuan Jones is the starting tackle against the Cowboys and he shuts down Micah Parsons.
Hey, I don't know, man. Micah Parsons seems to have taken the celebrity game a little more seriously than he took the Cowboys playoff game. I don't know. Maybe that's the thing.
He praised Myles Garrett. Literally, Micah Parsons said Myles Garrett is better than me. He knows that he's better.
Yeah. He also refused to give C.J. Stroud credit for dropping 40 on Jaime Jaquez. Did you see that? That was a pretty funny. Apparently in high school, C.J. Stroud dropped 40 points on Jaime Jaquez in a varsity basketball game.
Oh, yeah.
There were some highlights, and Micah Parsons just wouldn't give him credit. It was a funny conversation, man. But he was trying to tell me it was like freshman basketball. It was really funny, man. It's a funny interview. You got to look that up. No. The boy said, did you see him talk crap on Cleveland during the Pro Bowl? What?
Yeah,
Micah Parsons did?
He said Cleveland is Cleveland in front of David Njoku.
Well, that's interesting. Don't they play next year?
Yeah, they do. In Cleveland.
All right. Well, the last 3 times somebody's called out the Browns, they've gone to work on them. So we'll see what happens, man.
But it's like you do that right in front of a Browns player, especially our tight end. Yeah. Look out. Listen,
I know Micah Parsons like to have some fun. It might have been a little, tongue in cheek, just maybe having some fun with him too. Right. I'd have to really see it. I actually didn't see that. I'll have to, I'll have to check that out and see how he said it, how it came up in the context, of the conversation. But listen, I guess we can jump out of here, man. I can't believe 60 minutes goes by so quickly. Like I always think, like, man, we have a whole hour to talk about sports, and then 5 minutes later we're done, man. But hey, listen, Max, thanks for being on with me today, man.
Thank you.
And middle Max down there at the bottom looking the other way. Thank you to that Max as well. Sometimes you guys would talk at different times. That was fun.
Right.
I'm not sure how you did that. That's ventriloquism at a whole new level. But again, Max, thanks for being on with me. I'm Chad. I'm your host. Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate all the comments, all the interaction. It's fun to have a conversation with you guys as well. We only have a couple of us. It's fun to have somebody else to bounce some ideas off of. So we appreciate you guys. Hey, enjoy the weather. It's a little bit warmer than it's been the last couple of days. Maybe it's a sign of spring. Baseball's here. Go watch some baseball this week. We got some spring training baseball. I'm sure we can at least catch some highlights if it's not going to be on TV. Right. But, like I said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week on Come On Ref. Thanks, guys.